Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this series of videos, we are working on various labs for AZ900 exam, which is Introduction to the Azure, or this is really Azure Fundamental exam. And from Microsoft Learning, they have created 23 different labs to help you pass that exam. And we have already completed 13 of those labs, and I'll give you this link and the link to the Microsoft Learning in my video. So in this particular video today that we're going to do, we're going to look at the managing access control with RBAC, which is role-based access control within Azure. We will not get into too much details. If you are doing, say, for example, 104 or 500, definitely you will have a lot more. You will have to understand a lot more how it works. But for our sake, we'll go to the lab, we understand the basics, and make sure that we have a good understanding how role-based access control works for Azure. Now, to do this lab with me, you will need an Azure subscription that is active. If you do not have one, please go to portal.azure.com and get a free account. So again, we're going to do this is the lab, manage the access with RBAC. So first thing, we're going to view and assign roles. Okay, there are a few tasks. Once that's done, we'll look and monitor role assignments, and we'll learn how to remove a role. And that's about it, and look at some activity lab. It should be a pretty simple and straightforward lab. So let's just get started. So they're asking you to go to the Azure portal and then just create a resource group. Okay, and we're going to name the resource group as my RG resource group, then for our back role-based access control. So let's just copy this one, go to my Azure resources, and to create a resource group, you just search for resource groups and it will show up. Select that one, and there we go. Just hit on add to add a new resource group. Doesn't really matter which location you're creating this one, but just paste my RGR back, and it says the name is valid, EastUS is good. I don't really need any tag. This is not a production environment. I recommend that you use tag if you have a production environment for every single resource that you deploy. Now hit review and create. The validation is successful. Hit on create, and that should create the resource group for me. And right there is my resource group. Okay, so we are done with this portion. And the way the access control is controlled within Azure, so you will see pretty much for all the resources, okay, you will see the IAM tab, which is the main tab where you are going to control your access management. IAM means identity and access management. And just to prove you, let's say just go back to your home. Okay, so go to your subscription. Okay, so if you see, I should have only one subscription that is active. Let it just load for a second. If it takes long time, what I would recommend, just refresh it. Sometimes it should just takes a little bit of time, and sometimes I don't know why. They should show up like immediately, right? Subscription still loading. Let's just do select all. Select all. This is very interesting that this is not, it's not loading. So let's go back to resource group. Let's go to any other resource. Okay, look, this is another resource group. I have the access control in here as well. Looks like the resources within the resource group is taking too long, so Azure must be running slow right at the moment. Let me go back to home, and let's go to workspace. Workspace is a machine learning resource that I have created, and look at that, I have a IAM, which is the identity and access management. So what I'm trying to prove here, pretty much any resource that you have, this is a virtual machine, okay, TS. Let's see if it loads. If it loads, you see here's the IAM. So that is again identity and access management. So the thing that I want you to understand, that the roles, they flow from top to down. So if you assign a upper level role, so if you go to the subscription, And if you see here, finally the subscription came up. So here's the IAM on the subscription. So if you want someone to be like an admin or contributor in this particular level, which is a upper level IAM control, now if I have a resource group, now if I have a virtual machine, now if I deploy any resources within this subscription, that person who has contributed role, he will have the same role for all other resources. So if you want to be granular, you should not be applying identity and access control permissions at an upper level. Okay, you go to the resource level where you want to apply certain roles. Yeah, so if you want a person to only have access to the resource group that we created, I would not mess with the subscription. We would go back to the resource level, we will find that particular resource group, and we will only assign roles that will be applicable to this resource group and anything inside this resource group. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's come back over here to the lab. And here what they're saying, review what you have in this window right there. So here once you click on this one, it will show up all the existing roles, and at the to the very right there's a roles button that you can click on to add new roles. Okay, so let's come back over here. And this window, if you look at it, this window looks a little different because Azure is very dynamic and they keep changing. And over here now they have the check access role assignment roles. Okay, you can click on that one and that should give you a similar window like what we have in the lab. uh, and then you can search the role over here and assign roles from there as well. So here I have check access, role assignments, roles, deny assignments, and classic administrators. So all those buttons are available to me. So from here, what they're saying, switch to role assignment. So they're saying you're here. So go back to the role assignments. For us in the existing version of Azure, so from the roles, we are just going to go to the role assignments. We'll click on that button, and here I'm the owner, I'm the super user, you can say. So I have access to everything. But in here what we'll do, we are going to create a new role. Okay, so what we'll do, we're going to select this virtual machine contributor, your AZ group, user group, and service principal, and your account. So this really doesn't make any sense. So what they're suggesting, that you come back over here, you say add a new role assignments, and here you can search for the role. Okay, just virtual machine administrator or contributor, one of those. Let me go back and see. Virtual machine contributor is the role that they're asking. So virtual machine contributor, so that is the role. Do not select the classic one, but make sure that you're using the right one, virtual machine contributor. Assign access to, you can assign to a group, a particular user or service principal. So click on and over here you see that only one person is now you can select. So I can select myself again and hit save, and there we go. So it's now it's saying I'm owner and I'm also virtual machine contributor. So truly I really didn't need this one. A better way is probably, let's just go to our Active Directory. Okay, again I'm going to search for Active Directory. What I'll do, I'm going to create a demo user, just the user that I'm going to use for various lab purposes. So I'm just going to create an account. Azure Active Directory is fine. No, I don't need to create a tenant. Hold on. So Azure Active Directory and users, and from users I'm just going to add another user. So I'm just create a user. I'm just going to call this one lab user. Okay, and initially I'm not going to give them any special permission. Okay, lab user. I don't really need anything else. I don't even need anything. Let me create the password. Let me just create the password for this guy. Okay, and create. So I don't need to really log in using that user. So I'm just going to go back to our resource group, And what I'll do, I'll go to that particular resource group, and um, over here now we can assign roles and access to that particular user. So right now what we have done, we have created one new user in my Active Directory. But if I log in as that particular user, that user will not even have access to any subscription because we have not given that user any access at all. Uh, so over here you can do, you can now assign access to the particular user to this particular resource group from my IAM panel. Okay, so when I log in as that user at this time, if I log in, I will only be able to see whatever is happening inside this particular resource group. I will not have access to any other resource group. I will not be even be able to see anything that are deployed in other resource groups that are out there. Hope that makes sense. Okay, Azure still seems a little bit slow, so I'm just gonna go back to the lab and see what else they're asking us to do. So over here, the virtual machine contributor role lets you manage virtual machines, but not access their operating system or manage the virtual network and storage account they are connected to. So expect a lot of questions around roles and role assignments and what a role can do. Right? They might ask, you have a contributor role. Can you access the operating system or can you manage your virtual network? Your answer is going to be no. Okay, so pretty much in general, if you have a owner role, you will be able to do everything. The next is your contributor role. Usually it's very similar to the owner role, except they cannot create new roles for other people. And then the reader role, which doesn't really have too much of permission, but it reads. But I would highly recommend that you go through and kind of just look at RBAC roles that are available within Azure and how you can use it, and pay some attention to even custom role assignments. That's something somebody may ask you some questions on that one as well. So over here, we have already done that. Monitor the role assignments and remove role. So here they are saying, if you want to remove the role, how would you do that? So on that resource group, you can go to activity log. You can add filter, select operation, then select role assignment. So that one should show you what role has been assigned to you and when. Okay, so let's go back. Let's see what's going on with my Azure. Okay, so I'm in here. Again, I can go to uh, role assignments. Okay, and here are two roles. This role is, as I said, is not needed because I already have owner's role, which is at a higher level. I already have better permissions than what this role is giving me. Okay, so really it would make sense if I do add role assignment, and again go for a contributor, and then or just go for a virtual machine again, virtual machine contributor. Okay, now you see I have two different users showing up. Now I'm going to select that user and do a save. So this particular user that we just did, this is the true user who is not part of the higher level IAM group. Like he is not here. So this user does not have access to the subscription. So if I log in as this user, I can only have the virtual machine contributor role and nothing else. All right, to remove a role, again you click on it, a particular user, say for example I don't really need this role, so I can click over here and I can set remove and remove. So that will remove myself from that particular role because I don't even need it because I already have a high level role. If you need to remove this person from that role, you do the same thing, click on here, and over here just click on remove. So it's that simple how you assign roles. Okay, over here they're making asking you just to make sure that you understand how to look at the activity log. So come back over here, and this is your activity log right there. So you can click on it. It will tell you what is going on. So here this is the role resource group that you have created. and here where you have created a role assignment. Okay, that's all that you need to know at this point. Come back over here. Here you can do some more filters, but really I have so little of activities I don't even need to filter out my outputs. But just play around with these different filters, what kind of events, time span, you can add filter, and exactly what resource group you can target. So you have lots of options in here that you can configure. But that's about it. So kind of remember role assignments and how you can role. Remember that pretty much every resource that you deploy, they have granular IAM control, and the role that you assign, they're additive in nature, meaning if you assign a higher level role to the root level, say management group or subscription, uh, they will have very high level of access to anything that are being deployed within Azure. So if you want to be granular, go down to the particular resource. So for example, if you want to give access to one particular VM, go down to that particular VM and assign roles right there in from a VM IAM identity and access control, access management panel or blade. Okay, so that's all I think you need to know for the exam. If you're studying for the exam, good luck. If you like the video, just give me a like, subscribe for more videos, and have a great day. Thank you.